I came across a video that Colton Pouncey, the Lions writer for The Athletic, tweeted out. And you guys know where I am with Penei Sewell. I freely admit I'm a simp. And to me, he's the guy that turned all this around. Brad Holmes is a guy that turned it around, yes. But Penei Sewell is the poster child, I think, for this Lions movement. He tweeted out this video. I wanted to play it for you, and I want to get these two guys' reaction to it.
From day one, we knew we got to run through these. Yep. Hey, man, it's been an honor, bro. It's been a real honor. Laid it on the line. Laid it on the line for your brothers today. Hey, I got y'all from the first play to the last. Yes, sir. From the first play to the last. I love y'all boys. I love y'all boys. Let's go to work today. Hey, work on three. 1, 2, 3.
And that was Penei Sewell before the Green Bay Packers game. And D-Mac, he's 22. D-Mac, he's 20. He just turned 22.
You know, somebody brought it up yesterday, and I saw it in the chat about Samoan culture. And I think, you know, for whatever reason, bigger picture, right? You look at it, if you're a WWE fan, and you look at, you know, Roman Reigns and the you know, the Usos and the First Family, right? That have been running WWE at the top for 2 years. It's a culture thing, right? And the fact that how young it is, and you look to a leader, you look to a guy. When you brought this up, Neil, we always say, "Oh, you've already started sizing Penei Sewell up for his
gold
Hall of Fame jacket,
yeah.
for his gold jacket." This is just another level, right? Talent is one level, but the leadership fact, and if you're looking to a specific person, right, on this team that they can build around, or that Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell, because what does that match to you? To me, that matches your head coach. That could be your head coach in that huddle, right? So the message in Allen Park, as far as the buy-in, this is your guy, who it should be, being your 5th overall, you know, pivotal piece when you selected him by this regime, that this is their guy on the field. Yeah, that doesn't blow me away, but that shows so much more of what's going on in Allen Park, and about not just offense, defense, special teams, but as the team, and then your youngest player. Yes, you are correct in putting your analogy back to Steve Yzerman being named a captain of the Red Wings when he was 21 years old, right? The sort of leadership. Now, he did it in a different way, and obviously,
and that's what I was going to ask.
So there's different ways to do it.
I mean, he was the 3rd best hockey player on the planet.
But he always did it throughout his tenure as, I'm going to lead by example.
Right. I'm going to score 60 goals.
Penei Sewell is going to lead by example, but also be that verbal person. Now, I would expect that guy, because it's the same guy that's pushing Nick Bosa back and pushing Aaron Donald back and standing up at such a young age. So wise beyond his years, talented beyond his years, the full package, everything else. I think that, you know, that's everything you want in that guy as your pivotal piece to this team. So everything's built around that, right? And then I think it's just much more apparent, and I love seeing stuff like that.
WoodwardSports.com chat poll complete. 74% of you eat the corners of Pop-Tarts, which is absolutely savage to me. But anyway, Terry, remember Barry Sanders, right? Where, in my opinion, the greatest running back to ever play football. When you ask defensive players, they would say the same. What was the one knock on Barry Sanders, Terry?
Lack of leadership.
Lack of leadership, and I would even say I don't see it that way, because what other leadership is there to go out there and run for 2,000 yards?
Well, yeah, but his teammates knew something was wrong with the Detroit Lions, and management, ownership didn't listen to players. They didn't give a damn what they would say. The only person they felt
that had the juice
was Barry Sanders. So they begged for him to go in. Can you talk to them about this? Can you tell them what's wrong with us? And Barry wouldn't do it. Barry's thing was, you pay me to run the ball. I'll run the ball the best I can. I'll try to win. Then I'm going home. Don't bother me anymore.
But Terry, to me, and I understand that, and I've heard that a lot. Penei Sewell, to me, is that gold jacket loading. You know what I'm saying? And at 22 years old, you saw it.
Yeah,
he's leading these men.
What he's doing, there's not just toughness, not just leadership. He's brave. You have to be brave to be 22 years old and trying to be leader of guys that you may have looked up to, guys that are 6 or 7 years older than you. Because usually when you're a rookie or a second-year guy and you're 22 years old, your thing is show up, shut up, and get out. Because they don't want to hear what you have to say. The fact that his elders actually listen to him is a testament to his leadership, and the fact he's got balls enough to say something to them is a testament to who he is. So this is pretty special.
But D-Mac, again, I go to you on this because you were in professional locker rooms. How were you at 22 years old in that locker room?
Right.
But I understand it was a different locker room.
But I think the whole thing is to be able to not only grasp the physical. What do we always talk about? Letting the young guys adjust to the speed of the game, and it's the first time they've been to the schedule, and all the different things that you have to allow. This just goes to show maturity, and also too, it tells you a lot about the culture that he's come from, whether it's Oregon or his family or whatever like this. But it's yes. And I think that the Detroit Lions, they need this all-around guy that gets respected, right? And at such a young age, and Terry said, to me the biggest thing is it's not just the defense, or it's not just like the offense around him, it's the team. And this team is building as a team, and they realize that Penei Sewell is the pivotal part. I like this. Tyler Clark nailed it because he says, Sewell sets the tone, and Neil, you have tone. It works.
We're kind of the same in that respect.
You kind of are the same is where you get it. But, yes, I think it's special. I think it's different. And I think it's exactly what this team needs. Because doesn't it remind you of the coach? It reminds me of listening to Dan Campbell talk and fire up his team and say this stuff about we're in. What I love the best about that quote is I'm in this to the last play.
Yeah.
Right? And that's, to me,
it's mind blowing. That's the thing that really moves me about it.
Neil, we were privy to a conversation because the lovely and talented Maddie Miller, who's been covering this team all along, we asked her a question when we were talking to her about moving on from Vaitai and stuff like this, but she mentioned the fact that Vaitai being sort of the father figure to that offensive line in that dressing room. So it's the Taylor Deckers and the guys, the Frank Ragnalls, the guys who've been here that, to Terry's point, have embraced this kid and seen what he is and what he means and allowed him to sort of, it's almost like the Mufasa, Simba, and the Lion King, right? So if there's anybody's that you're Simba, it's this kid. Right. He's going to lead you out of it. So
let me give you an example. Joey Harrington, when he was here, he was just a guy just playing and doing. So he tried to show some leadership. You know what they told him?
They laughed at him.
No, they didn't laugh. They said, "Shut your bitch ass up."
Same thing.
It's a laugh, yes. So if those guys don't embrace you, you can't lead.
And it's true.
And the fact that
why do they embrace Penei Sewell?
Because they know he's a hard ass. They know he plays hard. They know he has something to say.
And above all else, he's elite.
Right.
He's an elite talent. Mm-hmm. And above all else, he gets in Nick Bosa's face and Aaron Donald's face and says, you ain't punking me and you ain't punking us.
Here's the thing. When your best player is dragging you into the fight, you got to be better. This is the same thing as if you mentioned me in the locker room, and I looked around and I saw that Steve Eisman and Sergei Fedorov and Nick Lidstrom, the best players on the teams, the Paul Coffey, stuff like this, are in the gym. They're doing the extra and stuff like that. Well, easy to know what I need to do. I don't need to know what to do. I just need to go follow them around and do what they're doing. It's easy that way, right? Getting in that cycle. But it's something, too, is that guys have to embrace because you have to do it. And being the elite and leading the way because it's leading from the front, right? Which Penei Sewell does, not only figuratively on the offensive line, but dragging the guys through the war, through the whole game.
Yeah, and that's it. And, for me, there was a lot of discussion about, the Micah Parsons v. the Sewell stuff and stuff like that. And they're both great players. They're both great players. But seeing that, just seeing that little clip, and that's something we're not privy to, right? Like we're not in there, so we don't see that kind of stuff. That hits different. That hits a lot. And that cat is 22 years old, and that's the National Football League. And you saw Taylor Decker, like vets. with big-time contracts, big-time players, big-time asses that were in there. You saw these men that were hanging on this 22-year-old kid's every word. Start making the gold jacket now.
Wait till he's 27.
And Terry, you can attest to it. Is how does he get that, Neil? Because he earned it.
Right.
You can only earn that sort of respect that he's got.